The era of the Super Nintendo was a time when game developers had way more limits compared to the games we see today. They had to do all they could to immerse a player into the worlds they create. Intros, visuals, story, characters, theming, music, and so much more. All these things added up to pull us into a believable adventure. Believable to the point where you felt you were a part of the game. Now I just want to say as a disclaimer, I won't be looking at the best games for this top 10 list, but rather games that I consider my personal favorites. Anyway, that's enough about that. Let's just kick back and enjoy some Super Nintendo. I'm going to begin by saying that this game has one of my favorite soundtracks of all time. Secret of Mana uses it to take its atmosphere and jump it to the next level. It created a memorable experience that has stuck with me through all this time. But when looking at the game itself, I'm not sure that I can say the same thing. I replayed the game for the first time in many years, and found aspects of the game that have not aged well at all. First of all, the AI is atrocious. No matter how you try to set it up, your quote-unquote friendly AI will do anything in their power to screw things up for you. They will either get themselves killed as fast as possible, do absolutely nothing, get stuck on something to hinder your progress, or just flat out have a seizure. While the AI may be bad, you do have the option to play with a friend, or two if you have a multi-tap. This alone will make the game experience much better. The only other small problem I have is that the pacing of the battles could be much better, considering this is an action RPG. The fact that I have to wait a few seconds to charge up after every attack slows things down. It doesn't help that you have to go back and forth through menus to use items and spells, which pauses the game entirely. Despite its shortcomings, this is still one of my favorite games. There's still enough to this game to be able to pull me into its fantasy world. It has epic boss fights, a simple yet great story, a deep soundtrack, and an atmosphere that will leave an impression on you. This was nothing like any other SNES game when this game came crashing through the gates in 1993. It had the super effects chip, it had 3D graphics, it had amazing music that kicked you back in your seat. Star Fox was a game that blew me away the first time I played it. I know that the general consensus with the fans is that Star Fox 64 is the most favored Star Fox title, especially considering it even saw a remake later on the 3DS. It had superior graphics and gameplay. But there are things I feel the original Star Fox has that Star Fox 64 doesn't have. To me, the game had better music, a better atmosphere, and an overall darker tone that made the game feel more believable and immersive. A big thing that helped was that you didn't have Peppy constantly giving you direct instructions on how to control your ship. Isn't that what the tutorial is for? At least Star Fox didn't have that kind of redundancy. Once you started the game, you were in, man. You were in. The only thing that keeps this game from placing higher on my list is that there are certain aspects of the game that haven't aged well. Although it was good at the time, the 3D graphics in the game are primitive compared to today's standards. To add to that, the frame rate was also inconsistent, which would hurt the gameplay at times. But from a presentation and design standpoint, this game was brilliant and fun-filled. It was a game that represented much potential for Nintendo's future that would eventually pave the way for the Nintendo 64. And Star Fox 64, of course. When I think of a Super Nintendo game purely meant for fun, I think of Kirby Superstar. The great thing about this game is that it isn't just one game, but multiple games. It's a complete Kirby package. The overall game isn't hard, but at the same time, I don't think it's meant to be. Whether you're alone or playing co-op with a pal, you can expect this game to bring good times. Nothing beats a game where you eat all the things. Deliciously delicious. Om nom 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 nom. What can I say about this game? It was an instant classic the moment it came out. Donkey Kong Country is a perfect example from transitioning from old to new. The intro starts off with Cranky Kong just chilling out, recalling back those old times through a classic tune. When suddenly, get out of the way, son! DK in the house! You know what they say, out with the old, in with the new. Gotta go with what's hip after all. And that's what DK is, son. Yeah, full shizzle my fizzle. I'm totally not a hip gangster kind of guy. I can't do this. Everything about this game just leads you to admiring the atmosphere in this game. The sounds, the music, the visuals, and the overall scenery that leads you to think, yeah, I like this. This is nice. One cool thing about this game is that there are a lot of secrets. It gives you something to look for whether you're replaying this for the 20th time or starting your first playthrough. I can't quite put my finger on it, but there's just something about Donkey Kong Country that makes it fun every time I play it. This game is one of the finest Mario games of all time, which is funny to say because he's not even the main character in this. It's Yoshi's Island, so you obviously play as Yoshi. Huh. Woulda never thunk it. Today I learned you play as Yoshi in Yoshi's Island. This is a game that pushed the Super Nintendo's limits even further, both graphically and gameplay-wise. The hand-drawn look of the game really set it apart from a lot of the games out at the time, and even today to be honest. Another cool thing is that it strays away from the classic Mario rescuing the princess cliché, and has its own interesting story. It's a refreshing perspective on the entire series. You should definitely give it a go if you haven't. Honestly, I can't believe there are so many people out there that don't like this game just because of this. Okay, you can stop now. Stop. Stop. Mario! This is the epitome of a classic Zelda game, just full of awesomeness. When I think of adventure, Link to the Past is definitely one of the first games to come to mind. This was the first game I played that gave me such a vast and colorful world to explore, and it still looks glorious to this day. This was a game that would leave me unsatisfied if I ever cut corners. Every time I play, I love taking the time to explore every nook and cranny, even if there's a good chance nothing important will be there. Sure, this may not be the best Zelda game of all time, but it sure is one of my favorites. It's hard for me to look at the generation before and call those games classics, because frankly, I didn't actually grow up during that era. Link to the Past is where my Zelda experience began, and I wouldn't have it any other way. If someone told me right now that Square Enix was making an RPG with Nintendo, I'd be like, I don't know about that. But back then, Square was awesome. Their track record at the time was pretty much unstoppable. Super Mario RPG was nothing like I've ever seen before. Epic battles, a captivating story, memorable characters, an immersive atmosphere, and a great soundtrack. All coming from a Mario game? Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, now that I think about it, I seem to be mentioning the word immersion a lot. Well, they certainly don't call me Zurachi, the immersive game-loving guy. Sorry, I got nothing. To this day, it still blows my mind that this game is as good as it is. Not only is it one of the best RPGs I've ever played in my life, it's also a freaking Mario RPG. I mean, come on. You even have Mario and Bowser working together to defeat the likes of evil. I would have never expected to get that feeling of deep immersion from a game like this. Sure, there have been other Mario RPGs released since then, but they definitely don't capture the same kind of magic that this game did for me. Dude, come on. It's Mega Man X. It's awesome. It's cool. Honestly, I can't think of anything else to say. All I know is that it deserves my number 3 spot. The moment I pop this game in and hit power, I know I'm in for a ride to be remembered. The game starts off with a simple swinging of the pendulum, indicating time as the theme of the game. Once it cuts away from the title, it kicks you back with the scenes and sounds of adventure. It's done in such a way that leaves you wanting more, and sucks you into the amazing world that is Chrono Trigger. This is an RPG that never fails to deliver in every regard. But alas, while it may have every quality you could ever look for in an RPG, there is still one more that I look above this one. Before we move on to number 1, let's quickly recap. Number 10, Secret of Mana. Number 9, Star Fox. Number 8, Kirby Superstar. Number 7, Donkey Kong Country. Number 6, Yoshi's Island. Number 5, Link to the Past. Number 4, Super Mario RPG. Number 3, Mega Man X. Number 2, Chrono Trigger. And now it's time. If someone were to ask me what my favorite Final Fantasy game of all time is, let alone my favorite Super Nintendo game of all time, it's Final Fantasy VI without a doubt. To this day, I have not played an RPG that has felt as refined as this game. If you haven't played this game yet, well, first of all, what's wrong with you? I urge you to find a copy and play this amazing, gratuitous, magnificent, engaging, immersive, top-notch, fantastic RPG. I need water. But seriously, this game takes storytelling and takes it to a level beyond comprehension. Not only that, but the main Final Fantasy composer, Nobuo Uematsu, is in his musical prime, meaning that this is a time when he was constantly pushing the envelope when it came to video game music. Final Fantasy VI is by far his best work on the Super Nintendo, and it shows. From memorable tunes to the deeper cuts, every musical piece in this game takes the story and puts it past everything. It's not just the story and music in this game though, the characters play a big role. There are a lot of them, and yet the story is so well written and detailed that you learn about everyone's backstory and grow to care for each and every one of them. Personally, it takes a lot for a game to make me care about in-game characters, but this game has managed to do it somehow. Now, if that's not enough for you, then all you need to see is this to be convinced.